ASPEC, Academy of Senior Professionals at Eckerd College. Maybe it's worthwhile taking that acronym and going backwards. First of all, Eckerd College, we need a place, some support, sense of location, a sense of belonging, and Eckerd College kind of provides that. A senior scientist, a senior investigator, it means someone who is advanced in their field, is a little further along, I guess. And similarly with professional, you think of professionals as the doctors, the lawyers, the artists, and all of those kinds of things. But I think the most interesting part about ASPEC is academy. It's the Academy of Senior Professionals at Eckerd College. And academy, to me anyway, implies higher learning and a group of people that work together. I was just struck by the fact that you had extremely accomplished people who were just genuinely interested in subjects and wanted to either share their knowledge or gain more knowledge. It was just very refreshing. ASPEC is unique because we can bring all of those things together in one location, and consequently we can provide real incentive to people to remain involved and to continue to grow.
Somebody mentioned ASPEC to me, and I looked into it, came here for a couple of weeks, and was really excited about joining because of the variety of different interest groups that were there, and the people in the organization, the level of intellect, and it just really attracted me to this place. I was looking for intellectual stimulation, camaraderie, finding people that I could be friends with, and also to learn new things. What I found most stimulating about the interest groups is the fact that we could discuss a whole range of topics, different viewpoints, and be able to discuss it openly and freely, and yet be friends at the end of the whole process. Oh, I'm using my retirement years extremely well from my perspective, at least.
I was an educator with special needs children for 27 years, but I had majored in art and in education. And so the creativity that I used in devising things for special needs children then also was my art creativity. So the combination of those two I've been able to use at ASPEC. The most meaningful thing is the teamwork. The enthusiasm that I get if I ask for a meeting. We don't meet on a regular basis to do planning and scheduling, but if I invite people to come, we get 15 and 16 people, and they're able to either volunteer or give us suggestions. And that pleases me so much, that they see this as a vital thing, a vital part of ASPEC.
I'm a retired surgeon, and I feel that I contribute to ASPEC in several areas. One, my past background and practice in surgery, as well as teaching surgery and doing research. What ASPEC really offered me was to have interaction with people on a professional level, but who were not in medicine, that their past life or even current life was in social sciences or in the arts or in literature. So this has opened up for me a real opportunity to learn about some of the things that the last real exposure I had was in college.
We participate in teaching in Eckerd College classrooms as discussant colleagues, working with a professor. We help do presentations and lead the classroom discussion. I found the interaction with the students very engaging and cordial. It's very interesting to share perspectives across a full generation. I'm working mainly with 20-year-olds in the classroom, and they have quite different views of life than I do, and bringing in history and things that you may have experienced in your life really stimulates some very interesting discussions. It was very interesting the first time Mary Johnson, who happens to be an African-American member of ASPEC, talked about her experience growing up in segregated St. Petersburg, because there was a real sense of the struggle that she'd been through. And you could have heard a pin drop in that auditorium. Everyone was absolutely riveted, including me.
Mildred Brown came to me and said that she'd been in discussion with President Eastman and Dick Hallen and some other faculty members as to how they could improve the retention rate of African American students at Eckerd College. And by putting all their heads together, they came up with the idea that ASPEC was a wealth of resources and knowledge, where if the people were available and interested in assisting some of these students, we might be able to reverse that retention rate. And it has worked very effectively over the last 10 plus years.
Eckerd College is an unusual, wonderful place. And they feel that in order to have a real well-rounded education, you really have to envelop all that there is. And, you know, so they make a point of trying to encourage multicultural student body. And I think that's the philosophy, and they want to be open to everyone. We do what we did at the very inception of the program 10 years ago, and that is, as an African American enters Eckerd, they're sent a letter, and it's their choice, and we tell them about the mentoring program. Most of them say, yes, I'd like to have a mentor. And so after we interview them and see what their strengths are and so forth and their desires, we match them with an ASPEC member.
Most of the members are retired from their professions, but they don't want to just sit down and do nothing. They want to give back and pay forward. So if you have a student, as I had, that came from an area that she was not very comfortable in the sciences. So I went out to the other ASPEC members and said, can you help the student with these particular needs? And the response was wonderful.
Many ASPEC members get involved with Sanderlin through mentoring students there, and what that means is that one day a week we have lunch with a person. It's about a half-hour interlude, and the relationship builds over time and trust develops over time. And I had a really memorable experience once when the girl that I was mentoring really didn't want to see me that week. She had had her backpack stolen on the street, and she was extremely upset. She was crying and sullen and just really wanted to be left alone. And I went over and I sat next to her and I just put my arm around her and patted her, and we spent the whole time that way. And I like to think that it brought her a little bit of comfort, and certainly it felt very meaningful for me.
One of the projects we worked on with the students was the Edible Peace Patch. The Edible Peace Patch is a huge garden formed by digging down 6 feet and then filling it in with a special kind of dirt. And the kids learn to grow things, number one, but they also learn good nutrition because they use the vegetables for their meals and things like that. So it's a year-round learning project for the students.
There are several things that make ASPEC a community and certainly make it different from any other lifelong learning institution. We have a place where we gather, and that's Lewis House. And because we're constantly present on these premises, it allows our members to congregate, to meet, to sit down and discuss what's been discussed in the previous lectures or in upcoming lectures. And that sense of belonging and getting together really creates a strong bonding of the members. ASPEC becomes almost a lifestyle. You begin to develop and build your life around the programs at ASPEC that you want to participate in. I don't think there's anything more meaningful for retirees than being able to stay intellectually stimulated and to be with people they enjoy being with.